Okay, so we are live. Y'all go ahead and come on in the room. Let us know if y'all can hear us. If you having any issues, let me get my thing pulled up over here. That way I can kind of follow along. Make sure in case somebody's saying something. All right, you guys, we're not gonna waste y'all time since we already a little bit behind. We're gonna go ahead and get started. We want to welcome y'all to What's Coming Out of Your Mouth. Generally on Mondays, I haven't done it in a while, but I usually call it Mindset Mondays and different things like that. So, since we're kind of talking about some emotional stuff, we can coin it as Mindset Mondays. I am your host, Altanya Lachey. I have the pleasure of having Miss India back with me. To give y'all a little backstory, and then I'll let her introduce herself. Last year, I don't know, I was trying to find a clip of when we had last year, but I can't remember exactly when. Miss Indy came on. We kind of, I guess you could say, bonded over our fertility issues. So she came on, and during that time, she was in the process of trying to get pregnant, different things like that. So we talked about fertility issues because we know in the Black community, we can only speak for the Black community because that's our community. People don't talk about, fertility issues. It's kind of something that I'm not gonna say people are shamed or shunned about it, but it is kind of like very taboo. So anywho, she has created an organization, but she'll tell you all about it. And she came on to encourage women, even though she was going through her storm of trying to get pregnant, but encourage other women. And so now life has come full circle. She has her little angel. And so I've been seeing her posting and everything. And I was like, I'm going to have to get her back on because it's nothing like that once you finally overcome and you just want to keep saying something. Some people can see your post and be like, oh, she posting another one. But don't nobody know about them days you was crying and all that. So I ain't going to get too much into it. But I did want to give them a backstory as to why we're coming on tonight. So we're talking about overcoming fertility and from rain to rainbow. So now we both have our rainbow baby. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So Miss India, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you. I'm so happy that you have your rainbow baby. And I'm just ready to gush about all this. So introduce yourself and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Hey everybody, I'm India Andrews Hartman. Basically I'm 32 years old, fixing to be 33. My birthday is actually on Mother's Day this year. Ain't God good?
Wow, that's a blessing. Look at that.
And so basically I'm married. I've been married for 5 years, made March the 4th a couple of weeks ago. I was able, this sounds good because I was able to change my bio today. I am the mother of one daughter.
Girl, I got good, girl.
One daughter, her name is Zion Alana Hartman. And I have 3 bonus babies too. That's Preston, Jasmine, and Jamelia as well. I'm the wife of Jeremy Hartman as well. Thank you, Kendra. I also have a few nonprofits. The one I really started was Mothers of Angels. That's what me and my girl here was talking about and everything. I came on in the midst of the process, really. And it's crazy because I was thinking, I was like, when I on the podcast before and what we was talking about. Yes. My girl brought me back. So yes. So basically, let's see. I have nonprofit Mothers of Angels. We've been together about 2 years. And everything. We basically help women heal through child loss. So basically, child loss and infertility. I'm sorry. And so basically, and it's Mothers of an Angel. So whether you had a child and your child passed away, or have you had a stillborn, had you trying to get pregnant, basically all encompassing all of those things basically is what we do. So that's one of the main things we're talking about tonight is we do. I also, of course, do a few other things in my life, of course, in my businesses, but that's one of the main things that we're talking about tonight. So I stay on subject to that one.
Okay, girl. Well, yes, I want you to plug all of your stuff. But yeah, tonight we want to talk about overcoming fertility. And like I was saying in the intro, I myself struggled to get pregnant. Well, I never had a problem getting pregnant. Like I can get pregnant like it's nothing. So My issue was being able to carry the baby full term, and they could never figure out exactly what was going on. So, 7 miscarriages, and on the 7th miscarriage, I was like, okay, Jesus, I love you, but this is doing something to me, and I just can't, you know what I'm saying? But God know what he doing when he doing it. You know what I'm saying? It sounds so cliche, but it's so very true. And so when I actually had my 7th miscarriage, I had just recently relocated to Texas and got a new gynecologist. And I had just talked to him and told him that, my body, it do what it want to do, it get pregnant when it want to get pregnant, and all this old kind of stuff. And then boom, I had another miscarriage. So luckily he was able to run a panel, and they how they do the blood work now, they do the different little tubes. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
sitting up here. I got the nurse of the phlebotomy, and she was like, "Never did this many." They did like 30 samples, and finally he was able to determine that I had some type of a clotting problem. I would have never known. Nobody in my family really struggled with fertility, so I really didn't have anybody to lean on. So needless to say, they figured it out. I got pregnant again, and I had to take blood thinners throughout my pregnancy, and it's another kind of medication I had to take to make my womb strong. I can't think of the name of that one. But she finally got here. And so fast forward to your story, how many miscarriages did you have?
So who I've lost 4 kids total. So
Okay.
basically, I got pregnant when I was 21. I had twins, I lost those, and then I got pregnant when I got married and I lost
Mm-hmm.
that one. And then I got pregnant the year later. Nobody really knew about the year later because it was more of like a not a miscarriage, but it was more so like a chemical pregnancy. It just
Mm-hmm.
got pregnant and then it dropped. So basically 4 babies in all basically is what I deal with the loss of. And like you said, on that 4th one, I was just like, you know what? Yeah. I love you, God, but I'm just like done.
Yeah, for real. And that is not me. Even my parents, they was like, I know you ain't saying this, but I'm like, how could I be a woman and cannot do what a woman is put here for? Like, I've been faithing it all the way through. I already had my baby name. Like, she got the name that she had ever since the first time I got pregnant. So,
Same,
so I already have my
same, the
name.
same.
And yeah, so I'm like, okay, God gonna do it. I'm encouraging others. I'm being there by other people at their baby shower and keeping a good spirit. And it was genuine, you know what I'm saying? But still, I was like, okay, when my turn, you know what I'm saying? And my husband, bless his heart, he was so supportive. He was like, well, baby, if it don't happen, it don't happen. He was saying all the right stuff and all this and that. But deep down, I know I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to make him a father. If it don't happen, then that's fine. You have to be at peace with whatever God said is. And so that's another reason I do want to encourage people, because some people, this may not be their story. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that they can't have that same peace. But I do want people to be encouraged to keep believing, because it might take 10 years, and 7 miscarriages, or it might, you know what I'm saying? It may not. Your story may be different, but through it all, you just still got to believe. But if you're going to have some time, like, you just be like, it ain't happening. So did you what end up making your this last pregnancy a success for you?
Well, to kind of bag up, because I know a lot of people did not get like a chance to really know the full story,
Mm-hmm.
and everything like I talked about last time. But my story was a little bit different. Like when I would go to the doctor and I would have the losses, we would try to like, it was like the doctors telling me, oh well, it's just a loss. And
Mm-hmm.
on the 3rd loss, that's the one when I started the nonprofit and everything. That one was really tough and
Mm-hmm.
everything, because I was like, okay, ooh, I'm married, it's finna go right, God finna work it out,
Mm-hmm.
everything. And so I lost that baby at 9 weeks. And so I was like, okay. The thing is that I was like, well, let me try to find out on my side, like what's going on with my body. You know what I mean?
Right,
Of
right.
course, sometimes we fear trying to figure out, okay, what is it that I'm doing? And everything. And I did all the tests, all the blood work like you did. And I came back. The doctor was like, well, there's no point of sending you to a fertility specialist because honestly, I don't think it's a fertility problem. So I'm like, why is it not a fertility?
Really?
She said, why is it not a fertility? I was like, why is it not a fertility problem? When I can't even, it was already hard to get pregnant, but not only hard, it was hard to carry, like you were saying. And I'm like, that don't sound right. And so you
Right.
know how sometimes you try to make stuff make sense. So you would be like, I gotta have a fertility problem, you know, because you trying
Right.
to make your sense in your mind, like, okay,
Right.
no, that ain't right. Go back and redo the test. And they basically, she canceled, my doctor canceled appointments and everything, telling me I don't need to see a
What?
specialist. I just need to go to the OB. So she said maybe the OB can just give me something. I went to the OB and everything. I did the regular doctor I normally use at this time, and I just had a bad experience in the OB. The OB was did not have bedside manners. It was just, it brought upon just a disappointment, adding to what he had already went through. So I got test work. They sent me for the, the ultrasound for your pelvic exam, trying to figure out what's wrong. And that's when I found that I had fibroids. But
Oh.
was told at the doctor that they were only 2 centimeters and 4 centimeters. If they ain't no problem, don't bother and don't remove them. And he don't even believe that was the cause of the loss of the babies. I'm like, again, that don't make sense, right? So
Right.
so the doc, he was like, no, we're not gonna even worry about putting you on anything. We're just gonna allow timing to have its time. But of course, sometimes when you used to control the situations and issues, you're like, no, I gotta get a control of this.
Yes.
Yeah. So at this time, I just bagged up and I was like, you know what? Okay. So what ended up happening is that I had got to the point where I told God, and you said this, it was funny. I told God, I said, if I got to the point where asking God to heal me, heal my womb, and also to heal my heart and to heal me from not ever being able to conceive. Because at this
Yes.
point, if you can run yourself so crazy with trying to find out the what ifs, that you stay so
Yes.
focused on why and how can I, that it holds your whole life up,
Yes.
and basically I had got to the point where I would give myself affirmations, and it's affirmations also in my journal book. It said that, God, I know if you can birth me spiritually, I know you can birth me naturally.
Yes, God. You better come on, sister.
And so I would literally say, well, God, I done birthed 4-5 ministries, books. I did help birth other people's businesses. I did basically birth 2 nonprofits going good,
Right.
birthing friendships. I'm birthing everything but a child, God.
Oh,
Okay.
Lord Jesus. Girl, don't
So
you
I
gonna
got
have me
to that.
cry here.
So I was like, okay. I said, okay. So I got to the point where people would ask me, you must not want kids. And, you get tired of people saying that. So I was like, yes,
Yes.
I want kids. But it had actually got to the point where after I asked God to heal me, it had got to the point where I told God, and I would tell people, and people would not understand why I said this. I had became content in where I was. And so I said that
Ooh.
if I get pregnant, to God be the glory. If I don't have kids, to God be the glory. And I kept it there. To everybody, it's keeping it there ain't the easy. That's like a sense of contentment that you have to have in God and in yourself, without disappointment, without depression, without all those other spiritual things that's going on, and just continue to walk. And literally, it's not easy to get to the point where say, well, God, I know if you do it, to God be the glory. And if you don't, to God be the glory. And I had got to that point, and everything. So when I got to that point, people would literally be like, you lying. You for real? Girl, you can't do that. Try
Right.
this. Try these
Right.
herbs. Try this. And I was like, no, I'm good. And everything. And the same thing with my husband. My husband felt the same exact way. He said, we gonna do this naturally, and everything. So I even had people ask me, can I be my surrogate? I had people asking me, yes. I had people
Wow.
asking me to be their God mother to their babies because I lost kids. And I was like, no, that ain't the way I want to obtain a godchild.
Right.
So basically, it had gotten to that point, and it literally right before I actually found out I conceived, about a month before I even received a message, and I received a message basically that stated, hey, have you ever thought about adopting? I had this baby. When I say, like, y'all, somebody tried to give me to adopt a child like a month before I found out that I was pregnant, and I was like, I said, let me pray about it and let me talk to my husband about it and everything. I never really thought about adopting because we have, bonus babies. So it was like, well, we kind of already got a couple coming up in the house. So,
right.
Right. So definitely understand. So that's basically the backstory, everyone. Basically, so just waiting those amount of years and everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good that, that is something that you say, like people, first of all, I think people are not intentionally, but very insensitive when they see women that don't have kids, and they want to say, well, when y'all having kids, or like even like now, when y'all having another one, like I'm like, if we have another one, that's cool, but you don't know what we took to get this one, so just what I'm saying, but people just don't know. But they think that they doing the right thing by saying, well, you can be the godmom, and you can adopt and all this, but that wasn't what you was yearning for. You already have your bonus kids, you know what I'm saying? But you wanted to be a mom. Like for me, I wanted to be pregnant. I wanted to feel all the feels, you know what I'm saying? I wanted all of that. And I really admire you for being in that space to just say, okay, God, well, if you don't do it, I'm contenting that. Because for me, I could never just, like, I knew God was going to do it. Like, he just had to do it. Like, I was like, okay, God, in your word, you just said it. So I had a prayer. Someone shared to me. It was miscarriage or loss or whatever prayer, and I started saying a prayer. I was like, I just could not be content or be okay with it not happening. And I just felt like I just had to stand on it, and I just knew it was going to happen. But I I had to release that control of trying to make it say when, putting a timeline on it, and just keep waiting my time. But I just think that's interesting. So, what would your husband take on you considering the adoption and all that? Because with him already having the kids, your bonus kids, how did he feel about the adoption part of it?
Well, he
With
didn't
him,
deny it. His number one thing is we'll definitely can pray about it. I didn't have a no in my spirit, but I didn't have a yes either. Like,
right?
A yes either. So for him, he wasn't negative towards it at all. He just was like, let's just pray about it.
Yeah.
And everything. And we just kind of prayed about it, left it alone, and everything. So definitely. And back to what you were saying, you said something like literally, I think I'll be 3 weeks on my baby will be 3 weeks on Wednesday. And so I've literally had people say, go on, have another one already. I'm like, y'all gonna let me get through this one?
Right. 3 weeks. Come on now. I'm still trying to wait my time out.
Right. And I was like, it can offend people when you say, no, I'm good. Like, I'm actually very content in what God has done.
Exactly.
That's to that point where you say, if I get pregnant again, to God be the glory. If I don't, to God be the glory.
I mean,
there's
God,
no
he knows what you can
there's
handle.
no controlling God at that point. Of course, if he wants you to conceive again, it's gonna happen regardless. And everything. It's really allowing yourself to really be a yielded and willing vessel to produce within the earth realm, to be honest. And everything. I definitely believe that Zion, which is my baby name, y'all, I really believe that she came here for a full purpose, baby. Because the way it happened when I first found out I'm pregnant, I had already threw it to the side. It sounded bad, but I was just like, well, just know how.
So you weren't willing to be invested in a pregnancy because of how it.
I was still, but it was just like I didn't have my expectations and my hopes up. I had mine. Okay, I can get ready to heal from whatever finna happen. Or whatever. And literally, God showed me totally otherwise. He showed me otherwise the whole process of the pregnancy, he showed me otherwise. So definitely, definitely different. So yes.
Yeah. Same. Because most of my ones would occur around, between the 8th and like the 12th week. Because, sometimes they won't let you go into the appointment till you get like 8 weeks because they want to make sure the baby got a heartbeat. Well, I'm waiting my time. They know I'm high risk, so I'm calling every day. Girl, I should be on the pregnancy test commercials because I done took probably 1 million in my life. So as soon as I found out it was positive and waiting to go to the doctor, I'm taking the test every day, and they still saying positive. So we're like, okay, cool. So then one night, I just started bleeding. So I was like, oh, it's over with. Yeah, I ain't making it to my appointment. So I called my husband, like, babe, so much blood that you know that you having a miscarriage. So I'm just like, I'm not even gonna go to the doctor because I done got to the point now, like I know when a miscarriage is occurring. So
Right.
my friends are like, no, still just go check, just make sure. And so I just went on and went. I already knew I had it in my mind. I was like, this one finna go on, and all this and that. And girl, when I got to the doctor, when they have you in that emergency room, they can't tell you if the baby not if you don't have a heartbeat or whatever, they gotta just let the doctor come and tell you. So the lady was like, I can't say nothing, but just look at the screen. The baby had a heartbeat. That was my first time being able to witness the heartbeat. In 9 weeks after I done lost all this blood, I'm just like, oh Lord, I'm finna have another miscarriage. And so yeah, after that, I was like, okay, I done got this. If he done gave me this heartbeat, this baby gonna survive. Because we hadn't never really made it that far. And so, girl, no, I wasn't finna give up now. I was nervous throughout, still taking my pregnancy test. Throughout the time. But once as things started to progress, of course I had to go on bed rest because I was doing too much, as I tend to do. But yeah, so I wanted after that. I wasn't giving up. So did you have to do anything in particular to make this pregnancy successful, or it was normal?
So a little background. I diabetes and
Mm-hmm.
high blood pressure. I've though and fibroids was the three things that were basically the determining factor of a lot.
Okay.
So but prior to actually getting pregnant, I was already seeing a diabetic specialist, not to get pregnant, but literally to just get me in order.
Right.
Not,
Right. Right.
and everything. So I was already seeing a diabetic specialist, trying to get my A1C, my numbers down. Blood pressure never had problems or whatever like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't a problem at all. So as far as fibroids, not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Simply just trying to make sure that I ate right and making sure that my numbers stayed in line. When I found out I got pregnant, the first thing I did was take a test, of course, and it was
Mm-hmm.
positive. So I didn't even tell my husband first
What?
because it was like I didn't want him to get his hopes up,
Right. Yes.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm just gonna keep this one to myself. So I did call my leadership. I called my apostle. Her name is Apostle Angelica, and I was like, I got a positive pregnancy test. What I supposed to do? Like, so there's this program here in Mobile, a nonprofit called Women's Resource Center. And
Uh-huh.
so I went there the next morning and I took a test, and my then I showed that to my husband. And
Okay.
so I was able to show that particularly I was able to show that one in particular to him. And so he was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. He was like, let's just, go ahead and make a doctor's appointment and everything like that. So those were the circumstances surrounding this. Also, right before I was going to therapy, I was seeing a
Mm-hmm.
therapist I was going twice a month, so I started going once a month. And actually I was on my last session until she found out I was pregnant, and she was like, I'm gonna have to follow you through this,
Right. Wow, that's
So
so
those
awesome.
so those circumstances basically were surrounding the pregnancy. So you had diabetes, you have high blood pressure, you have fibroids, and then you also have mental health basically to
Right.
basically produce. So what I did different to conceive her was honestly, I can't even say it had nothing to do with high blood pressure, diabetes, I would say it took preparation prior to for me to get my numbers in order for my body to be able to obtain and conceive the child. By the 9th week of the pregnancy, I also was like, oh my gosh, it was a hard week for me because that's normally the week that I lose the baby. But I have
Right.
never prior to seen or heard or even seen a heartbeat.
Really? I didn't know we had that in common as well.
So I was going to a event called Trailblazers, and that was the 6th week that the Women's Resource Center wanted to do my to detect the heartbeat. And I was like,
Right.
oh man, I'm gonna be gone. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know, like I literally, well, I can't say I don't know, but Holy Spirit really gave me a calmness and was like, go to the event, do what you
Mm-hmm.
gotta do. But and one thing my apostle Chris told me is that you can't control the outcome. I'm pregnant. So at this
Yeah.
point, I can't control it. If the baby gonna go, it's gonna go. If it's gonna stay, it's gonna stay. At this point, childbirth
Yeah.
is one of the things that we as women cannot control.
Right.
So basically, you have to fully change your confession. I had to change my confession. And I had said I don't want to get pregnant because I never enjoy pregnancy because my anxiety, because I'm thinking something's gonna happen to the baby at every level. Um
Right.
and so when I went into when I got ready to prepare for the appointment and everything, basically um I was like Lord, I don't even know what to do. Should I cancel my trip, go to this
Mm-hmm.
appointment? Because I want to know right now.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiousness. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I got a calmness, and Holy Spirit really dealt with me is go to your program, do it when you come back. So I told the
Mm-hmm.
doctor, I said, I do it the week when I come back. I said, I'm gonna take that week, and it's an event, basically worship event, entrepreneurship. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
worship. I said, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna worship, I'm gonna do what God called me to do. I'm gonna do what I
Mm-hmm.
need to do, regardless. If the baby gonna be there, it's gonna be there that week after. So I really
Mm-hmm.
had to put that in my mind. Like, y'all don't understand how hard it was to literally drill that in my brain and change my thought process to all of that. So basically the week I came back and everything, well, the people that knew that I was pregnant there were for the most part. So I really didn't do no heavy labor. That was the first
Uh-huh.
couple of weeks, and stuff. So I took it easy. So when I
Mm-hmm.
came back, I went an appointment, and y'all, like, when I did on the thing, the lady was like, I looked at your files. Mind you, the Women's Resource Center detected all of the 3 babies gone. So this is the
Mm-hmm.
4th baby, the 5th baby, I'm sorry, that they going having a chance to see. And I was like, she was like, well, how many children do you have that are, that are
Oh, that's the
born?
hardest
The
one.
hardest question that they asked, and I was like, none. And so she was like,
Mm-hmm.
all right. And so they are Christian based as well. So she was like, well, we're gonna pray, we're gonna see what we got. So she she put the thing to me or whatever. And so she was like, guess what? And I was like, what? She said, we have a heartbeat. Girl, I started
Oh
crying.
my goodness.
I started crying. I cried. I was like, because I've never seen a heartbeat. So I'm like, okay. So mine is okay. We got a heartbeat. So then, boom, my
Yes.
mind went to, we got to keep this heartbeat. You know, my little
Exactly.
process of
Exactly.
and everything.
Yes.
So keeping a heartbeat. So basically, those were the circumstances that I was against. To continue about my pregnancy, I did some things immediately. This time I did
Mm-hmm.
different. Somebody, I cannot remember who prophesied to me a while ago and said, if I just change my doctor's office, it may be possible to have a better pregnancy. Y'all know what I did?
Mm-hmm.
I switched from one hospital system that is supposed to take care of mothers and children and women. That's the
Mm-hmm.
hospital I'm supposed to be at. I'm supposed to be at high risk and all this stuff like this. I literally went outside of things and went somewhere else.
Yeah.
So when I got to this other place, she was like, well, what are the circumstances that we're looking at? She was like, okay, I see. Let me get your A1C, which is the number y'all just explained, the number for your diabetes. She got the numbers, but she said, oh God, she said, I need you to get this better. I'm gonna have to send you back over there to get care for high risk. She said, but one
What?
thing I'm gonna do, I know. So she said, but one thing I'm gonna do. She said, I'm gonna continue to be your main. But I'm gonna send you care. I'm gonna give you a referral to go over that the only thing that they're gonna do is take care of your diabetes and your high blood pressure. I'm gonna make sure, and your testing. But I'm going to make sure that you're taken care of all over. I'm still going to deliver your baby. I'm still going to do your appointments. But at this time, you're going to have to go to both doctors because you are high risk. Okay, that's fine. At this point, I did trust her. I had got recommendations for her. So I was like, okay, that's fine. She looked like she knew what she was talking about. It wasn't, we going to see. No, she knew exactly what she was talking about. It looked like this was not her first rodeo. So, and everything. So that was also what I had to do differently is I had to switch OBGYNs and everything. I had to switch the hospital system that I use that normally would care for a child. Nothing against the hospital system at all. It just did not work out for me. And in the past, it didn't work out for me. So I had to make the best possible choice for me and my child to make sure we carried her into the world. Or whatever. So that was another thing that we had to do. So basically, I was turning in my diabetic numbers. I had to check my sugar, y'all, 6 times a day, take 5 shots of insulin a day, 2 pills a day. I know, 2 pills a day. I had to take metformin, then I had to take shots of insulin. I had to strictly send my numbers in weekly to the diabetic person that I was in control of as well. It was a lot of work, but when you really want something, or when you really know that you need to make sure that what you have inside of your womb needs to be birthed, you're going to take care of it. If y'all think about that from the natural and the spiritual realm, right? So you're going to make sure you're going to do what you need to do. So I was like, okay, fine, check my sugar 6 times a day. Then my doctor be like, India, why you ain't check it the other 2 times? Or whatever. And I was like, I'm just so tired. I got so much going on. She said, well, you seem like a scheduled person, so it look like you need to start putting it into your schedule. She was strict. She was like, no, ma'am, you got to birth the child. She coming. Oh, well, and this is how we didn't know the sex. So we like, no, ma'am. She coming. So I was like, okay. Then blood pressures. I didn't have to check them at this time. I just had to make sure. Never had problems really with the blood pressure. Stayed on just, regular medications. What I needed to maintain on. So that is the things basically I had to do is maintaining my sugars. My sugars went from an 11 of an A1C, which is horrible. Don't ever get that. To a 6. 6 is good, by the way. So hey, Angela and Brianna. So 6 is good. So I had dropped all the way down, y'all. If y'all seen the way I look right now, y'all, I have lost like 3 pant sizes because I didn't gain but 7 pounds during the pregnancy, which means I lost weight and I maintained. So I also had to maintain my diet as well. Of course, you got cravings during your pregnancy, so you're trying to stay to that. But but also at the same time, I can't say I didn't have my sweets and have different things like that. But I had to just monitor what I had, and I had to do what I had to do. So those are the things again that I had to do to maintain the pregnancy. It was a lot to maintain. But the blessed part of it is now that I am on no insulin. The 5 shots a day. So it feels good not to take to have to shoot myself with to over 80 units of insulin in one day. It does. So
so were you having to take a higher dosage because of the pregnancy?
Yeah, so basically the longer you into the pregnancy, the more that affects your body, and everything. It depends on also what you ate. Is that sometimes your baby takes the nutrients. So sometimes I had a lot of highs. So the higher it go, the more insulin they basically had to give me, but only if my numbers for that week had seemed to just continue to go up. So, and then it was certain things. If it was over a certain number, she basically was like, I need you not to eat that again, or hey, she's out for this. So those are some of the things instead of just taking it up. So yes, and then towards the end of pregnancy, I had to deal with low numbers, like low sugars, where I was almost bottoming out. So we had to lower the dosages. So for the whole pregnancy, we're literally hiring up. So it was like this, I had a little, line or whatever of just peace, but it was just trying to measure them. But my regular OB was definitely on top of the high risk of the doctor's office. She stayed on top of them and everything. And so that was one thing as well. And then they weren't actually that bad, but the fact
Mm-hmm.
that somebody oversaw them, was not as bad as well. So those were some of the things that I had to do to maintain it. So it's crazy how, well, I wouldn't say it's crazy. So I gotta switch my language. It's amazing, not crazy. It's amazing how you can
I
go
love
from
it.
oh you can go from basically, oh, I lost this baby, I lost this baby, I lost this baby, I lost this baby, to, oh wow, this baby is maintaining inside of my body, inside of my womb.
Yes.
So now it's
Mm-hmm.
time, um, you have to do what you need to do in order for your womb to be conducive enough to carry a child, to
Absolutely.
be able to birth. So the fact that my womb was conducive enough to be able to carry the child took away all of the other fears, or all of the other pieces of anxiety, or all the past things that I thought, the what ifs and stuff, it took away of. Oh well, I can't carry a baby. I can't say I can't carry a baby no more. You know what I mean? It took
That's
away all
right.
of,
That's right,
now
girl.
my womb is conducive to carry, and then it takes off. Well, I don't know what happened for my womb to be
Mm-hmm.
conducive to carry, but also it goes upon. I always tell people timing,
Yes.
doing what's needed, and simply
Mm-hmm.
just it's what whenever God wants it to happen. At the end of the day, like one of the
Absolutely.
things that's my favorite phrases is something like God doesn't work in timing. To just
Mm-hmm.
really encourage a lot of ladies, God doesn't work in time, He works outside of time. So basically, when you're dealing with certain situations, we cannot take what we want to happen, our processes, and then try to put God inside of a box,
Yes.
inside of a timeline, and say it needs to happen by then. It needs to happen by
Absolutely.
age 35. He's timeless. Like, yeah, Angela, he's timeless. So you can't say, oh, I gotta have a baby, and then I gotta have one by this age and this age and this age and this age. When God wants it to happen, it'll happen. Whenever He needs
Absolutely.
to release whatever's in your womb, it's gonna happen. So I
Mm-hmm.
definitely say those were some of the factors to basically be able to be conducive enough for my womb to be conducive enough to carry Zion.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And like you said, he is timeless, but we have to get out of that societal mindset because they always say, well, women, you need the younger the better. You need to go ahead and be trying to have your kids because then you can run into disability and different things when you're trying to have babies after 35. So I think as a society, which I think we're getting beyond that because people are having kids older, but
Mm-hmm.
as a society, we need to stop putting things in women's mind to make them feel inadequate because they have reached a certain age and they have not had their children and whatnot. So I think that's something that we need to stop. And I do agree with you on the medical part. Like for me, I had my thyroid removed, so I had to double my dosage, which I'm already on a high dosage of thyroid medication. I had to double that in order to carry successfully as well. So same, and the doctor's office because they may offer these different specialties, but they may not specialize in caring for you. And so just because you've been going there forever, your family have been going there forever, you have to be willing to step outside of that to get the ultimate care that you need so that you can birth your baby. And I'm so glad you brought that up because we get so comfortable in seeing the same kind of doctors or, not wanting to branch out because we've been going here so long or they delivered everybody else's baby. But you gotta do what you gotta do because some people they'll look at your weight or your health problems and they really don't want to help you have the child and they'll just string you along and then you still continue to go home and feel hopeless. So I think that's a major key that you brought out. And so I hope a lot of women are encouraged by us talking about our journey. And India was sharing that she is getting ready to release a journal. Is
A
it a
book.
journal or a
It's
devotional?
actually a devotional.
Okay, and so I'm so glad to hear you saying that you're doing that. I wanted to do a book when I had the baby, and I'm like, okay, Shay, you got too much going on. But I'm glad that you're going ahead and doing it. Go ahead and getting it out. And so, kind of tell us what the book is going to be about.
Okay, so basically, I started writing a book in the midst of my pregnancy. and everything. And so I was able to try to see, okay, God, how do you want me to go about this? Do you want a book or do you want a devotional? So for me, I received from devotionals and a lot of other women too. So I was able to come up with a 30-day devotional, which this is ago. This is just my proof. My other one is on the way. And everything. It's a 30-day devotion. It's called From the Heart of God. And so basically it's a 30-day devotion for women who have experienced child loss and infertility. And so basically what it does is it has in here totally it has a 30-day, it has where you can journal inside of here. They have reflections. It has your scripture. To give y'all what page. It has your scripture. It also has your word and everything. It has your total totality of what the topic is gonna be about. It also comes with a worship song with it. Basically, these are some of the worship songs that I wrote down when I was dealing with him in my healing process. And everything. I was writing down a worship song. I'm a worshiper. I love music. Music helps heal as well. So worship song, it also has affirmations. I believe in what you speak and what you think has got to do with your process. And also I included a prayer as well. So it has that and everything. It also has in here 5 prophetic words from the heart of God. So basically directly from our Father. So basically really just a lot of people wonder, what does God really think about me dealing with fertility? How does God feel about me? A lot of people question why does God continue to allow this to happen? He must doesn't love me. He don't want me to be able to be fruitful and multiply. There's a lot of questions, and basically that's what this devotional basically answers. A lot of those questions is personal, is very transparent as well. So basically that's one of the things basically that it basically helps with.
That's awesome. I think that's so awesome because a lot of women struggling with fertility will probably never speak out. You know what I'm saying? So having something in a book form would definitely be helpful for those who are suffering in silence.
Right.
And I just want to encourage people who are suffering in silence that you are not alone. It seemed like it because everybody having kids, sending kids on the side of the road, not caring for them and all this and that. But there are those of us out there who have struggled through fertility and can be encouraging to you, willing to kind of share your story and, be your shoulder to cry on. And it's okay to cry and be down about it, but just try not to get stuck there. And that is so very hard. I must say so myself, but try not to get stuck there. And know that your time is coming, and it may come in a different form, but don't let nobody pressure you into what that different form should look like.
I definitely agree. Definitely agree. And that's one thing that the book does. I'm try to be very vulnerable, and very transparent, in it, because I feel like that's what's needed. I feel like that when
Absolutely.
you're dealing with child loss, we just try to say, "Oh, I lost a child," blah blah blah, boom, we keep going with our lives. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like, who is that example? Who is that person that's really able to be vulnerable with women to say, hey, it is completely okay to feel this way. It's okay to feel like, oh my gosh, when is it gonna be my time? It's okay to feel like, oh
Yes.
my gosh, do I still have a purpose? It's okay to feel this way. What is
Mm-hmm.
not okay is to remain that way. It's not okay to
Absolutely.
remain unhealed. It's not okay basically to continue to allow yourself to remain in the same mindset. That's what's not okay.
Mm.
So that's what's not okay. What's not okay is for you to continue to allow yourself to lose your identity despite the fact that you haven't been able to birth. So that's what a book really tackles. The devotional tackles a lot of those things of, God heal me. Then
Mm-hmm.
it tackles parts of worship, worshiping. It tackles a woman's heart, because when we get hurt or when we get wounded, we put up walls. So it talks about
Yes.
also us allowing our heart and allowing those walls to stay down so God
Mm-hmm.
can heal as well. So a lot of it tackles that as well. It's just trying to become um understandable and transparent and vulnerable, so others can basically, you're able to reach other people. So that's basically a lot where it comes from. A lot of the even the book cover has a lot of heart to it and everything.
Mhm.
Basically the pearls, the roses, basically just showing, you know, a trueness of a woman and
Yes.
everything. So yeah, knowing that you still have an identity, knowing that you still have purpose despite the fact that, you know, you're not able to birth and you're not being able to be fruitful and multiply, you know, and everything. So I definitely that's one of the things that I try to allow people to take in on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when do you expect the book to be available?
Actually we've already pressed published.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, I haven't really put it on Facebook or not. So my Facebook, you're my Facebook. Yes. Oh, I plan to. I'm waiting on my flyer to get completed.
Mm-hmm.
So I should be putting it out within the next couple of days. I've
Okay.
already, yeah. So I've already set up the publishing. I already set up basically pre-ordering. Really, it's not even
Mm-hmm.
pre-ordering because we basically now we complete.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
if you are
awesome.
definitely interested, please let me know. You guys can go ahead and start purchasing the journals. If you know somebody that needs it, you can always just give me their address and pay for it, and I can ship it to them. It
So
also will
what
be available. Yeah, huh?
I was gonna say, how would they purchase it? Is it gonna be a
Okay,
website or they will need to contact you directly?
you will contact actually me directly. It's also going to be on Amazon, and everything.
Okay.
So it depends if you want to sign a copy or not. If you don't care about the signed copy or anything like that, you can always, of course, purchase it on Amazon. It should be
Mm-hmm.
available on Amazon within the next couple of days. If you would like to go ahead and purchase one, and so I will personally sign the book, and I will also, you know, leave words inside of the book and personal copy, then yes, you will contact me personally. The best place, I have a couple of ways you can actually contact me. You can either contact me through Facebook. My Facebook name is just like it is on the screen, India Andrews Hartman. You can inbox me on there. Also, I have a email address, which is india.andrews@outlook.com. As simple as that. I accept Cash App, PayPal, a few other forms of payment, but basically I'll be able to send those out for you and everything. So definitely let me know directly.
Okay, that's awesome. And you were saying that you have the Mothers of Angels group. Is the group still going, right?
Yes. So some of my ladies are actually on here. You have Angela, you have Kendra. They're on here. They're one of our some of our leadership team on here. We have a support group on Facebook. It's on the Mothers of Angels Inc. You can only join the support group, however, if you have dealt with child loss or infertility. If you just want to support, unfortunately, that community is not fully open. Only for those who experience it because
Fortunately.
yeah, yeah, it's just a privacy thing. Yeah. So, but also we have a website which is mothersofangelsinc.org. We have that as well. So if you want to donate to the organization or you're just interested in partnering or anything like that, let us know. We are starting a transitional program as well for those supporting women basically that are now trying to get pregnant or that are already pregnant. So a lot of times we talk about loss a lot, but now we're kind of going on, okay, I'm pregnant, now what? You know, how do I get
Yes,
through this? How do I get step by step through this? How do I, you know, what do I do with my fears and my anxiety when I don't want 100 all the time? You know, go to the
right.
emergency room. So I think something wrong. You know, where is my support? You know, and things like that. So that's where we are now, is opening up that program as well for those ladies to be able to help them.
Okay, that's definitely dope because you're right. First, you at the woe is me. I done lost my babies. And I don't know what to do now. I'm pregnant. I'm still nervous. I'm taking a pregnancy test every day, and you can't keep going to the hospital because you only get so many visits and all that unless you extra are high risk. So that we definitely need that support system. So that's good. That's really good. And, I'm glad that you have that community so that you can share that I am pregnant and somebody can support you along the way and you don't feel like, okay, everybody eyes on me. Like now, after you have had the baby and you're making all your posts, some people may be like, okay, she gonna post about it every day. But I'm like, yes, you gonna post about it every day. Every time I get a memory, y'all gonna get all these memories, everything, because you don't know how dark that darkest hour was. So for me, I gotta give God all the glory and every chance that I can, because only He brought me to where I am now through that moment. Because it was time that you can go about your daily tasks, but you just can't see your way beyond that darkness.
I
So,
definitely agree. And I actually had a lot of backlash. I didn't let people know on social media that I was pregnant until I was 24 weeks pregnant.
which
And
is
everything.
why same. I think I
Yeah,
did the
it was
same
very
thing.
wise for me to do that. It had nothing to do with everybody else. It had everything to do with me, my fears, my anxieties, trying to get to a certain point with actually accepting. Um, and it takes a while to accept the pregnancy. To be honest, my
Right,
friends were like, are you okay? Because we trying to see, like, are you accepting this pregnancy? Like, not saying I did not want her, accepting the fact that I was really pregnant, y'all. It took me a while. Like,
right,
a while, even after birth, that I had a baby next to me that's crying that she mine. Like, it did. Not that I didn't love
right.
it, just took a while to say, oh, this mine for real. Like, I don't return
Mhm.
this one. And oh Lord, I really got a baby. So and stuff. So I got a lot of backlash that I shouldn't even shared it. Yeah, I know that look. And everything. I
Wow.
shared it and everything. So and I understand some of the the wisdom that was coming from the sharing, because everybody was like, I think because everybody else was scared for me. Everybody else was like, oh my gosh, and everything like that.
Well,
I
you
was being
mean that
so.
they said you shouldn't share when at the 24-week mark? Still, they think you shouldn't have
Yeah,
shared.
just the
Oh,
whole
gotcha.
sharing process, just wait till you have her and then basically let us know. For me, God had dealt with me, and I'm gonna openly say this just on the platform. I just feel like at the end of the day, you follow God, you follow what God wants you to do. At the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, when you really tell God that you want to be an example, you have to be
Mm-hmm.
careful what type of example that you're asking him to make you out of. So in no
Yes.
way, shape, or form was I ever posting to boast or brag within me, especially in dealing with loss. It was all to the glory of God and all with God. It took God to get
Yes.
through the whole pregnancy, and it taking God now to basically get through even being a mother. So
Yes,
listen.
girl.
So, but there are people that do boast. Oh, I got my baby, blah blah blah, and then they just leave. They just forget about the fact they ever lost kids. That ain't me. I'm still fully
Mm-hmm.
invested in child loss, and I posted about it every day almost. But one thing
Mm-hmm.
I tell individuals is, hey, if I can post 50 million times about how many kids I done lost, and y'all just say, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, and I'm praying for you, then you should be so much happy as in the many times that you see me posting my baby on social media. And
Absolutely.
not posting to brag or boast in myself, but posting to be the example for what God has in the earth realm. When I asked God to heal me, I didn't ask God to heal me for me. I asked God to heal
Yes.
me so that he's able to help me be able to lead a generation of women that are able to that are struggling and don't have anyone to fully understand where they're coming from and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're being an example, you have to be open. You have to be open and vulnerable. So a part of being open
Yes.
and vulnerable is sharing your process at what process that God tells you to share it at.
That's right.
So of course I waited 24 weeks. I waited basically a little bit half the pregnancy, and everything like that. I had everybody around me knew it or whatever, but just that timing. And then every week I would post, week such and such. This is my update and different things like that. I didn't post it for me. I didn't post it for the congratulation. I posted for the woman literally that needed to understand that every week and every small step is even a step. And you have people
Yes.
silent that are now pregnant that don't know how to.
Yes.
So I'm literally like, okay, this is what we have to do. This is how we have to step. So when you ask yourself to be an example, when you ask God to use you and to be a witness, you have to be a yielded vessel. And sometimes being a yielded vessel, we can become wounded. We become so open to the fact that we become this person that, oh gosh, can in the back of my mind, can something happen? Yes. But then
Yes.
I'm gonna post this week that, hey, I was scared, and you know,
Yes.
such and such. So y'all know that I end up having Zion at week 37.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow actually was supposed to be her birthday. And so
Mm-hmm.
I had her 3 weeks ago. So even
Mm-hmm.
at that, I'm like, week 37, I developed preeclampsia. It came out of the blue, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Like, but the most amazing doctor that I had me coming right on in same day. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
24-hour urinalysis. Hey, sit down somewhere. You know, she told me,
Yeah,
oh no, you
exactly.
need to go down. You know, so when you are a yielded vessel to God, it's just important to know that your life is on display. And because
Yes,
your life is displayed, God is going to make sure that what he needs to come to pass is going to come to pass.
absolutely.
Yeah, so definitely. I receive, and you wouldn't think that I received negative feedback, but I did. I received a lot of negative feedback, and everything, but it's completely fine. And I had to
Yep.
tell some people, to God be the glory. Thank you so
Mm-hmm.
much for the advice. And every,
Mm-hmm.
I just had to do that. Um, so basically, just knowing, how to become a yielded vessel, how to basically allow your life to just be spoken for. So the same thing with you, like you're open, you're
Mm-hmm.
willing, hey, let me bring somebody else on and let's talk about it. People don't talk
Yes.
about this stuff. They don't want to talk about it because
Mm-hmm.
it's so what's the word when you really don't want to talk about it? But they just don't want to talk about it at all. But I guess we're
They
just
don't, because it's not a community for that. They don't make it okay for a woman to not be able to conceive, or it's something that's looked down upon. You know what I'm saying? So we have to create that community, and like what you're already starting, and like having podcasts where we have episodes where we focus primarily on fertility laws. We have to create that so that woman who's out there struggling knows that she is not alone, and hey, these two ladies, they did, I can talk to them, or whatever the case may be. I'm just like you said, I ask God, let me be a vessel. So I'm gonna overshare. I don't care if whatever you feel, because I want you to know that God did and He can do it for you too. And everything that we go through is not just for ourselves, but it's for somebody else as
right.
well. So, if they don't want to see it, they can easily remove themselves, and that just means their time is up anyway. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And so I always tell you, I'm an overshare, so y'all may want to unfollow me or whatever the case may be, but I'm not gonna not let God get the glory, because He deserves it all. And so I'm gonna share it. Every time something come up, I'm gonna share it, and then I'm gonna be very extra with her as I am now, as she continues to grow up, because I know what this means to me, and I want to give Him all the glory throughout her upbringing. So it is what it is. They can like it or not.
Right.
But who needs it gonna get it. So that's the
Right.
main thing.
And that's what it's about.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, love, for coming back on. Hopefully we inspire somebody. Hopefully somebody watching may come back this time next year or later in the year and want to come on and tell their story. But we're gonna keep coming on, keep sharing our testimony, keep just giving God all the glory, because He deserves it all. But also in an effort to encourage somebody who is currently experiencing a loss, has experienced a loss in the past, or may experience a loss in the future, and just so happen to run across this video and be encouraged by it. So, is there any closing remarks you want to leave?
I honestly just want to tell everybody to basically be encouraged. Stay encouraged. Just know that there is fully a plan. We just have to be
Mhm.
able to follow through with it. So definitely, I appreciate everybody that came on to support and listen as well.
Yes, absolutely. All right, you guys. Well, you all have a good night. If you know someone who needs to watch this, feel free to share it on your page and in your stories. I would definitely appreciate the circulation, so that the message get out there to whoever needs to hear it. And thank you again, Miss India. I would love to have you on again whenever you have something else to promote, because you are a serial businesswoman, mompreneur now.
Yeah,
And
mompreneur that.
yes, feel free to come back whenever you want to promote something, or if we have topics that you want to sit in and discuss on.
Okay.
All right. Good night, you guys.